Melbourne, city capital of the state of Victoria, Australia. It is located at the head of Fort Phillip Bay on the southeastern coast. The central city is home to about 1,36,000 people and is the core of an extensive metropolitan area, the world's most southerly, with a population of more than 1 million. In Australia, it is second only to Sydney in population, and there is a good natured rivalry between the two cities, to which geography and history have bequeathed diverse characteristics. Though Melbourne's flat site has led to the regular development of a rectangular pattern of streets, the city has many beautiful parks, and the person with an eye for architectural detail and history can find much that is varied and attractive. Melbourne has a population of conservatism and financial soundness, attributes that have contributed to its growth and are revealed by the organic skyline of the central city and the rapidly expanding eastern suburbs. Area city of Melbourne 4 square miles 36 square kilometers, Inner Melbourne 33 square miles 86 square kilometers, Statistical Division 2971 square miles 7695 square kilometer. Pop 2016 city, the Melbourne 1,35,969, Inner Melbourne 5,91,679, Melbourne Statistical Division 400,000, 8,500, 211. The area of original settlement in Melbourne, which today forms its financial, legal, administrative, and ecclesiastical heart, was laid out in a rectangular pattern that has not changed. The area has frontage along the Yarra River. Within this core are the major suburban and interstate railway stations, Victoria's Houses of Parliament, the Anglican and Roman Catholic cathedrals, arts and entertainment venues, museums, and the law courts, the State Library, and many financial institutions, including the Melbourne Stock Exchange and the headquarters of the first official census of Melbourne in 1836 numbered 177 persons, of whom 35 were females. In the 1850s, the gold rush in nearby areas of Victoria sparked the city's first major period of emigration. Newcomers came principally from other Australian colonies and Britain. By the 1920s, Melbourne had become the home of more than half the residents of Victoria, and toward the end of World War II, it reached a population of 1 million. This trend continued throughout the 20th century. By 2000, the Melbourne metropolitan area comprised nearly three-fourths of Victoria's population. The second great wave of immigration came in the 1950s when the Australian government pursued a deliberate policy of encouraging immigration from Europe to provide workers for Australia's developing industries. The government provided assistance with travel costs and helped the immigrants to settle in Australia, learn English if necessary, and find employment. At first, migrants were drawn mainly from the Baltic states and Eastern Europe, many of these people being war refugees. Then larger number began coming from the United Kingdom and Ireland. Immigration agreements were signed with the Dutch, Maltese, West German, Italian, Greek and Austrian government. These programs showed the seeds of Melbourne's present multicultural character. Italians, Greeks and Yugoslavs formed the largest numbers of non-English speaking migrants, and by the mid 1970s, 1/5 of the city's population regularly spoke a language other than English. Immigration from Southeast Asia, in particular refugees from Vietnam and Cambodia, increased during the early 1980s. That Melbourne dominates the economic life of Victoria is not surprising. The city contains the bulk of the state's population. It is Victoria's financial center and east of government and is at the hub of the communications network linking the state to the rest of Australia and the world. The city's original code offers the most employment, but employment is growing at a faster rate in the outer suburbs. The central city mainly holds service activities such as banking, insurance, retailing, entertainment, public accommodation and railway transportation. Surrounding this core is an incomplete ring of inner industrial suburbs where the first clothing and metal factories were established in the 19th century. In the outer suburbs, particularly to the east, small manufacturing areas began to develop after World War II, when these suburbs could offer large areas of expensive land, few problems of traffic congestion and an increasing population. Melbourne is well served by an integrated public transportation system of electric trains, buses and tram cars, the latter a signature site in the city. A network of national highways links Melbourne with the adjoining states, and a system of freeways was greatly upgraded in the 1990s, including the creation of the Western Ring Road as a bypass route. The CityLink project joined three major freeways with a bridge, tunnels, highway extensions and interchanges to facilitate traffic movement. An underground rail loop serves the central business district. Melbourne's international and domestic airport is located at Tullamarine, 14 miles 23 kilometers northwest of the city. The Victoria State Government has the ultimate responsibility for Melbourne's major planning decisions and for providing its principal health, educational and transport services. Local government in the Melbourne Statistical Division is provided by more than 30 entities. Councillors led by a Lord Mayor are elected under a system of compulsory voting conducted by mail. Councillors receive a stipend and represent the city at large. The councils pass local ordinances and control a number of services connected with building regulations. Community welfare, garbage collection, and vehicle parking. Revenue for these purposes is raised by property tax. Since the system of free public hospitals was started in 1846, it has grown to encompass numerous special facilities which deal with either particular ailments and categories of patients as well as general hospitals. There are in addition many private hospitals. The University of Melbourne, one of the oldest in Australia, was established in 1853, though the first students were admitted in 1855. Monash and La Trobe universities were established in the 1960s, and Deakin University, established in 1974, maintains 3 campuses. Melbourne also has colleges of advanced education and offer degrees of diplomas in a variety of technical and academic subjects. Melbourne's already rich cultural life was greatly enhanced during the period between 1968 and 1984, when the Victorian Art Centre was created on the south bank of the Yarra River, close to the city centre. It encompasses the National Gallery of Victoria, the Melbourne's Concert Hall, and several theatres, among other facilities for the art. Automobile license plates in Victoria carry the identification Victoria Garden State. Melbourne is worthy as the capital of a garden state, with more than 1/4 of its inner city area consisting of public parks and reserves. These spaces were set inside in the mid-19th century at a time when many civic leaders in other cities were concerned with commercial development rather than with the quality of life. Extensive tracts have also been allotted as parklands in the newer outer suburbs. Port Phillip Bay was discovered by Europeans in 1802 when Lieutenant John Mary and Captain Matthew Flinders visited the bay within a few months of each other. This area was then part of the colony of New South Wales, and the colony's governor Philip Gidley King instructed the Surveyor General Charles Grimes to examine the shore of the bay with a view of identifying sites for future settlement. In 1803, Grimes and his party discovered the Yarra River and travelled along its lower course. Unlike some members of the party, Grimes was not enthusiastic about the Yarra River as a potential settlement. Later in the same year, Captain David Collins arrived with a contingent of soldiers and convicts and settled near Sorrento, just inside the entrance to the bay on the east coast. Within a few months, however, he decided that the location was unsuitable and moved his group to Tasmania. Melbourne capitalized on its central position within Victoria and its port facilities to capture most of the region's trade. Between 1856 and 1873, railways were built to Geelong, Ballarat, Bendigo, Echuca, and Wodonga. In the 1883, a link with a New South Wales a rail system was established at Albury. In 1877, the Melbourne Harbour Trust was created and the Good Canal was cut in the soft alluvial sediments of the lower Yarra River to provide a more direct course free from silting problems. Victorian architecture building style of the Gothic revival that marks the movement from the sentimental phase to one of greater exactitude. Its principle, especially honesty of expressions, were first laid down in the true principles of pointed or Christian architecture 1841 by Augustus Fogin 1812 to 1852. Much Victorian design consisted of adapting the decorative details and the rich color combinations of Italian and especially Venetian Gothic, though ornamentations could be elaborate. It was usually not superficially applied but grew nationally out of the form and material used.